All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Freedom Time Podcast. I'm your humble host, Martin, aka KingMuffiiin. And, all right, let me stop. I feel kind of weird talking to the mic at times. So I haven't gotten used to it. But, I don't know, I think I'm a really good talker, but I still haven't mastered the art of podcasting. And what I mean by that is, like, I've had multiple attempts at a podcast, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to sit down, but I don't even know why I'm starting there. All right, like I said, welcome to this first episode. And what is this podcast about? Well, I am quite obsessed with Gunpla, and that's just building Gundams or robots in general, the mecha genre, the mecha anime genre, or just robots in general, I should say. Again, I just love. I love. I've always been obsessed with it, and I'm definitely referring to like the model kits. I love the genre overall, but like model kits and building model kits and painting them and customizing them is something I've recently been super obsessed with. It's been about like a year now, a year and a half. And I wanted to create something where I can just kind of sit here and talk about anything related to that. There's a lot of podcasts out there with, all about this, all about that. But this is just going to be practically me nerding out. And from time to time, my plan is to have people over here because I've been meeting quite a few people, especially through Instagram. Cool, I guess, Gunpla builders and just cool people in general, I should say. And I've always kind of wanted to have them, like, create a place where I can just talk to them and just pick their brain, because if I'm able to do that, I'm able to learn from these people. And that's something I also want to accomplish with this. I want to learn and get better in my skill set, in my art form, I should say. Because I consider Gunpla an art form. Just like any other art form, it's like, not necessarily it's the painting, but it's the time and effort that people put in. And I've learned to respect that. And quite frankly, I want to master that. Now, master is a word that gets thrown around a lot. But for me, master is just become like, funny enough, master is not necessarily knowing everything, but master is like when you are faced with a challenge, when you're building these Gunpla, these Gundam, you're able to solve that challenge the most efficient way possible without actually like sitting there and thinking like, oh, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that. You automatically know how to do it. And that's because you've practiced these skill sets before on other projects and previous projects just to learn them. And by doing so, by practicing these skill sets over and over again and knowing when to bring out these certain skill sets for a certain project, I consider that mastering that skill set and therefore becoming a master of Gunpla. I know it's like fucking... excuse the French. I might cuss a bit, might not, I still don't know yet, but this episode I'm going to be a little bit more unfiltered. We'll just kind of write it through, we'll see what the situation is here. Also, I want to just heads up, I have a very squeaky chair at times, so I'm trying very hard not to make it squeak. I have a bad habit of doing so, and the people I usually speak to on Discord and stuff, they're pretty nice, especially Kim. Shout out to Kim. And she's really nice. She won't tell me anything. She says she likes the sound of my squeaky chair, but in a podcast, I'm pretty sure it must be annoying. So if does happen, please forgive me in advance. I will take care of it in future episodes, but for now, bear with me. I'll try to move as least possible. But enough of apologizing. Back to the podcast. So let me go ahead and just like give a little bit of an introduction about me. I think I did that already, kind of in a short form, but here's just a bit of a longer form. My name is Martin, and I also go by the nickname KingMuffiiin. KingMuffiiin is my Instagram tag. So how did I arrive to KingMuffiiin? Okay, well, actually, I have a little story about that. Let's go on a little tangent. Don't worry, it's all going to be Gunpla related, so I'm just kind of pushing it that way. But let's go ahead and start with that, with the name KingMuffiiin. I've always there's a phrase in my mind that I've always had ever since I was a little kid, and that phrase is, "Heavy is the head of he who wears the crown." To me, that phrase represents responsibility, right? And the crown is responsibility, but we'll leave it at that. It's always been that. So I've always been obsessed with with the idea of responsibility and being a king and crowns and, King Arthur and yada, yada, yada. And you can kind of see that on my works too, especially now that I've gotten a little bit more advanced with the Gunpla. I've started to customize a little bit more. You see more like knights and swords and shields, and I'm kind of obsessed with that stuff. So that's a phrase that I'm very, very obsessed with. And you can say that's why the king part is in the name. But we'll come back to this in a bit. So the muffin part. I used to work at a real estate brokerage company here in San Diego. We'll keep it private, but if they're hearing me, shout out to them. They're really cool people. And so I used to work there for quite a few years. I started working there since I was 19, and I believe I stopped around the age of 26, 25, around there. So I want to say a good 6-7 years, roughly 6 years, roughly. So I was working there, and at the bottom level, at the first level, no, bottom level. So it's like under the first level of that building. It was like a 10th floor, like building, or I should say a building with 10 floors, I should say. At the one under, there was this lady who used to sell food all the time, and she would always sell muffins as well. So I would always go down there, and I would always buy a coffee, which would be either mocha, but then I got obsessed with the white mochas, and then I turned into like a dark coffee person, I guess. I got obsessed with dark coffee because I wanted to cut the sugar. The sugar was really bad. I could freaking feel the sugar in my body, just like, I don't know. Have you guys ever just drank sugar and just like you feel your body just fucking, ugh. I don't know, like pulsing, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but it made me feel like I started to notice that wasn't a good feeling, and I figured maybe that's not like a good thing to have, because that probably means that I'm having a lot of sugar, and a lot of sugar to me is not a good thing. But I digress. Going back to the point, I used to go there and buy a muffin, more specifically a blueberry muffin, and I would eat them all the fucking time. Every single day. I would buy muffin, coffee, sometimes two, but I was always like obsessed with that. So in Twitch, I have a Twitch channel. I don't really use it, more like as a viewer, I should say. Maybe I'll stream one of these building Gunpla stuff, but sometime in the future, regardless. But Twitch, I used to always name myself Muffin Martin. Muffin because I love muffins, and then Martin because they call me Martin. So Muffin Martin, I would always name myself that. And then I used to go to this Twitch channel, Snuggy Bun. Shout out to Snuggy Bun. She's like the first streamer I ever subscribed to. She was like a cool, I would say streamer. I was gonna say mom streamer, and like she's just a really cool gamer in general, a really cool streamer. So I used to subscribe to her, or I still do to this day. I think I'm her longest like sub, and my goal is to stay there as long as possible. I want to reach like 100+ months, But regardless, I subscribed to her, and she was the first one I remember. I won like a God of War contest, so I ended up winning God of War for the PS4, and that whole thing. So she would have like muffin, and also there was this other streamer, veggie. If you hear this, I really do apologize. Veggie Up, I believe, something like that, and is what she would also call me Muffin. So because I would, okay, you hear the squeak right now. I'm moving, people, relax. So I believe it was in her stream, and then in also in Snuggy's stream, it would be Muffin. So I was like, all right, cool. During that time, I was also getting obsessed with the idea of like responsibility. There comes that phrase responsibility, which is like what I see a crown as. Heavy is the head of he who wears the crown. Like, I've always had this like observation that a lot of people want leadership, but sometimes don't understand the responsibility that comes with leadership. Like, if you want people to follow you, you must be a responsible person. If not, people won't follow you. There's a lot of frauds out there, and we'll leave it at that because I don't want to turn this podcast into that. But I guess if you think about it as the idea, like, uh, just a king must be a responsible person to rule justly, and that's kind of backed up by my obsession with the Arthurian legends, like King Arthur, and all that stuff, like Knights of the Round Table, and just in general, all my obsession with knights. So that's where the word king, and I figured, okay, I'm kind of transitioned to a time in my life where I've accepted responsibility. I've accepted the crown, So king, and then muffin, because muffin, I've always loved the idea of muffin, and I feel like it's kind of funny when people call me muffin, and then they talk to me and I have like this super deep voice and like, holy shit, why is your name muffin? So it's like, all right, I always found that funny. So it's like king, accepting responsibility, and accepting this new phase of my life, and then muffin, because it's always funny, and that's kind of like always been my internet, like, okay, Twitch name, and like just internet presence. And even then, before, it was like things like Saint Muffin, because I love the anime Saint Seiya and things like that. So Muffin was always there. So I combined those, and aka King Muffin. And then I made my own personal Instagram profile there, King Muffin. So well, I mean, I already said it. So King Muffiin's there and on Twitter as well. So if you want to follow it, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to gain more followers, but enough of that stuff. That's how I ended up with the name King Muffin. Now, so my name's Martin, but I also go by the name of King Muffin, and sometimes people also call me Muffin, but I do prefer the name King Muffin, and that's the name that I've used to that's the name, that's, I guess, a personality I've taken now that I've built Gunpla. Every time I build Gunpla, I said kill, Jesus Christ. Every time I build Gunpla, I always go like, I give it a name like Project something, and then by King Muffin. So I've always been obsessed with that name. I love it, and that's how I arrived to King Muffin. But Jesus Christ, that was kind of like a long introduction to how I got to King Muffin. But now let's go to the next part of this, which is like how I got into Gunpla. And I think I could only begin that story with like how I got into anime in the first place, So I actually recently wrote something like this not too long ago, and that's because I wanted to make a video about it, like why I consider Gunpla an art form. But I guess I'll kind of like give a quick rundown as to how I got into Gunpla, and that's kind of like how I got into anime in general. Now I've noticed that I've learned like two things about this, and to be quite frank with you, it's been a long time ago. So I only have I have two memories, I believe, and I don't know which. Well, I do know which one came first, but I've always talked about one, but I've never talked about the other, and that's because, I mean, I just forgot. It's just been such a long time. So recently, like I'm 29 now, I believe I got into anime probably when I was like 6 or 7, so it's been a long time. And quite frankly, I never thought it. Like now I think about it, it's crazy to think about like when I was watching anime, I was like 7, 8 years old, and then it's like now I'm 29. That's 22 years ago or something like that. I recently turned 29, September 27. So yeah, happy birthday to me. I know what the scumbag thing to say, but regardless. So I believe the earliest memory of how I got into anime was, like everybody else in the States, or like a majority of people in the States, was Dragon Ball Z. But I never really had cable, so I never watched it through Toonami or anything like that. The way I got to Dragon Ball Z is, I'm Mexican American, born and raised here in San Diego, California, in the States, but my family is from Mexico. My family is from Acapulco, Guerrero, which is like the really southern, like all the way south of Mexico, like where the beaches are at, and beautiful place. I visited there. I was lucky enough to visit there when I was around 6th grade, but beautiful place. Also, I purchased land there for like $800. Actually, a land in Acapulco, and I paid, I believe, $800 for it. My grandma helped me, and I believe I have dual citizenship. I cannot confirm or deny this yet. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell, but apparently I'm able to buy land, so I believe that makes me. I think I have dual citizenship, but that's besides the point. I was around 6 or 7 years old, I believe, and then my grandma went to Mexico, and I asked her to bring me something back. And my grandma at that time there was VHSs. She brought this movie. It's like, here, I got this movie for you. And it was this VHS tape, and I remember the plastic, that hard plastic where you could like open it, the VHS tape. And I remember seeing the cover, and it said Dragon Ball Z, The Tree of Might, but it was in Spanish. And I was like, all right, what the hell is this? I remember putting the VHS and watching that shit all the fucking time. All the time. Like, Dragon Ball Z, The Tree of Might is one of my favorite movies of anime of all time. And that's, you could say it's probably nostalgia value for it, because I haven't seen it in a long time. But, I mean, I remember, like, everybody always get beat up. Fuck Gohan getting beat up. Piccolo getting beat up. And then, like, I believe it's the Saiyans, well, the guy that looks like Goku, I think his name's Turles or something like that. He would like, they planted this tree who would like suck the life of the earth, I believe, and then they would eat these the fruits of it, and then they would gain that power, and these guys would be like super strong, like warriors, and then Goku and the gang would have to fight them off, and like I believe a spirit bomb was thrown somewhere in that movie, but regardless, I love the movie and I watched it like religiously. And then I remember these little toys came out, cheap fake toys of just Dragon Ball Z that I would buy like at the local, like, called Dulceria, which is like candy shops here in San Diego. And but yeah, that's how I believe I got into anime. And then from there, I don't remember ever watching anything else. I'm trying to think, but I don't remember, if I'm being honest. Because then I do remember like Saturday morning cartoons after that, but I don't remember watching anime. And the next thing that I remember, like anime, and this is kind of like where my obsession started with like more of the mecha genre. And I mean, it'll make sense. When I was around 4th to 5th grade, that's when I was finally able to get Cox cable. Here in San Diego, we didn't have cable, so we didn't have that like cable. We had to use these antennas, at the time. And when we used these antennas, we would only get like these Spanish channels. So yeah, we would just watch reruns of just crappy cartoons, or just not even that. We would watch Saturday morning cartoons, and I would watch Power Rangers, and then that's when I would see like these robots. But I always liked the robots, but they were like dinosaurs to me, so I didn't, because I would watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I never really saw them as like mecha, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like where it started, but it really kicked in when I watched when I got cable, and we would watch like Cartoon Network. I finally got Cartoon Network, after hearing all this thing. And I would watch Dexter's Laboratory, and wait, let me try to pronounce it. Dexter's Laboratory. I watched that. I watched like Samurai Jack. I would watch all these really cool cartoons, but I never, like, I didn't know that. I believe that at the time there was this thing called Toonami, and I never really caught that though. I don't know why, and I can't explain it. Maybe it was like the wrong Cartoon Network, because I remember there was like multiple channels or whatever. I never remember seeing that, but I do remember seeing like these commercials that there would like be these super edgy commercials where it was like these teens, like, but like emo looking teens, or like just edgy teens, always talking about these robots called Gundam, and they're like, I customized my Gundam, it looks cool, and like the commercial's all dark, and like fucking beanies, and like like black colors and everything like that. And now looking back, these were all like Gundam Wing kits, which would make sense, because at the time that's why there was a huge Gundam Wing push, because Gundam Wing was very popular here in the States, I guess, at the time. And it's not one of my favorites, and I guess you can guess why. Well, I know you can tell why, because I never really watched it, but regardless, I would always watch these freaking commercials all the freaking time. So I don't know what that was. And one day in the middle of the night, I would wake up, because my family was a bit religious and they didn't really want me to watch cartoons. Maybe that's why I didn't catch Toonami. I would sneak in these Saturday morning cartoons, but everything else I would kind of like, I couldn't watch it, But but yeah, I would sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and then turn on the TV, and I would just flip the channels. And then one time I was just flipping the channels, and Cox Cable. And then there's this channel with like this. I flipped this channel, and then I see this cartoon. There's this giant fucking deformed baby, and I was like, what the fuck is that? So I started watching. I just left it there. I started watching it, and then I see this baby expanding and absorbing all these things and emerging, and then these characters would run away from it. And then I was like, I watched it till the end, right? And then the last scene was this male character with this female character just kind of standing in the middle of like, it looks like the whole destruction. And the ending didn't make sense to me. I don't know what the hell, there's lights and all this stuff, and there was a young kid, and like the camera. Then these two are left like in this little middle island looking thing, and then the camera starts panning out, right? Well, holy shit, I had just watched Akira, like the ending of Akira. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I remember there was guides, so I quickly look at the guides. I'm like, okay, Akira. And then I remember I said Akira, but it's Akira, I believe. So I was watching that, and then I looked at the guide to see when it was going to show up again. If it was, it was rare, because I was like, fuck, I guess I'm never going to see this again. Because at that time, they would show something like that, they wouldn't show it again. But come to find out, they were doing like reruns every night, showing that thing like around like 3 a.m. So I decided to stay up the next time it was going to show it. And I believe it was the next day. But regardless, I stayed up and I watched the whole shit. And I was like, holy fuck. But here's the thing. I credit Kanada's bike, that red bike. I credit that with my obsession. Like, the reason I'm obsessed with the mecha genre, I should say, is because of that bike. I don't know why, but something about it, like the way it moved, the way I saw the animation, just the way it moved, the way it sounded, and the music and everything like that. Like, I fucking loved that bike. And then I'm like, what the hell is this though? At the time, I didn't really know I didn't know the genre of the show, of what it was, but it turns out it was anime. I didn't know that Power Rangers and that was just like coming from Japan, so I never really linked it. And that was until a few years later when we finally got the internet, and then I started putting, 2 and 2 together, and then I was like, okay, these are from Japan. And then when I finally got the internet, I started seeing like these artworks of like these Gundam with like these giant robots, I should say, with wings. I was like, what the hell is this? And then come to find out, it's like Gundam. And I'm like, oh wait, these are the commercials that I used to watch all the time because I wanted these toys, because I was always obsessed with toys. And I was always obsessed with Legos too. So the act of building, and like I said, these edgy commercials where I will like, people say like, oh, I'm building this robot here and I'm painting it and things like that. So my obsession with mecha and Gundam and all that stuff just kind of started with it. It was like a huge mixture of just things that happened throughout my life when I was young, and I just happened to get really obsessed with it, And after that, I started discovering, like I said, putting 2 and 2 things together. Power Rangers comes from Japan. There were shows that were purchased, not necessarily, and they were like reenacted with like different actors, and like the robots are the same thing as the Gundam, which is called the mecha genre, and then like but all credit goes to that the bike from Kanada and Akira. So that's how I got into just the mecha genre in general. And from there, I was just watching show after show, like whatever I could get my hands on, which then I watched Gundam. I didn't watch Gundam Wing first. The first show of Gundam, I believe, was the original UC Gundam. Trying to think. Let me give me 5 seconds here. I'm trying to think if that's the case. I don't remember which Gundam. I know it all started from the artwork, and then I know when I started to delve in it, the earliest memory of Gundam I remember is the UC stuff, which is a Universal Century things shows, and I know Amuro was always there because I've always been obsessed with Amuro. Like, the character of Amuro to me, he's like the greatest ever character, just in general, of like the mecha genre in general. Like, I am obsessed with Amuro, and I've taken a lot of from his character and added it to mine when I was a young kid, and I've modeled a lot of myself behind him because he's someone who like kind of I could relate to. He's someone who as a kid got pushed into the into this crazy situation that only he could, like only he could solve, you could say, by piloting the RX-78, because he was the son of the creator of the RX-78, and because of that he was like cursed to be the one to pilot it to save all the people, and it was unfair. I really do believe it's an unfair thing to put on a child. Like, I know it's an anime stuff, but I was always obsessed with that. It's like, it is an unfair responsibility. Here comes that word again. It's an unfair responsibility to give to a child of his age. And you can tell he didn't want it. Like, at first he thought it was kind of cool. It's like, well, it's kind of cool. It's okay, I have to do it. And as a kid, that's something like I could relate. Like I said, I was a young kid. I was the oldest of 5, and like I was kind of without going into much detail, because it's I need no sympathy for this, but I was given this responsibility that I had to do as the oldest to like to do certain things to help out my family, and I've always thought that was unfair. But because and then when I saw Amuro, like later down, which maybe my teens, and that's kind of like where I really absorbed things like that, that's why I was able to understand bigger themes like that, which was when I saw it in my teens, I noticed that Amuro was, again, someone who got like given this responsibility without him wanting it, but he had to accept it, and he accomplished that which he needed to do, even though he didn't want to do it. And then later on, he everything he got, all the perks in life he got, was because of that responsibility he accepted that he didn't want to do. And by accepting it, he was able to like, get to a place where he wanted to be. I know, sure, in Zeta Gundam, he was held captive by the fucking by the Titans and Earth, and they didn't want to go to space, because he knew if he went to space, he would probably join the Camille and the whole band of rebels and stuff, like yada yada yada. I get that, but I'm saying later on, especially by Char's counterattack, he was like the leader. He was like a leader type character. Like, he accepted his place in the universe. He accepted who he was. He accepted the responsibility. He accepted the crown. Heavy is the head of he who wears the crown, and he didn't want it, but because he knew the responsibility that would come, but he knew that he was the only one who could do it. So yes, I was obsessed with that, and I love that. And you can say that's why I've always loved Gundam, because and I guess you could say that's why I've always disliked Evangelion. Get in the fucking robot, Shinji. Okay, I'll just say this, and I know I've probably just pissed off quite a few people, because the Evangelion fucking fan base is batshit insane, and you cannot deny it. Like, the show's good and everything like that, but I've always hated Shinji. Like, I hate how people say like it's so realistic. It's like, no, the show's realistic for people who like. I mind you, I'm like fucking generalizing here, so please understand. I'm just discussing Gundam here as a passionately as just a mecha genre in general. I'm discussing it, but Shinji has always pissed me off, because like here's a boy who really was like babied, right? He was babied. Like, he had a good life, private, I believe it was like private like school, things like that. Like, he had a good life, but like he was crying because his parents didn't love him, or his dad would use him, or I forgot. It's been a while, but his dad was a piece of shit to him, right? And don't get me wrong, fuck the dad, he's a piece of shit too. But like, why? Like, it's always pissed me off, because I've had to deal with things like that too, and I'm like, all right, I've no time to complain. I got to pull myself out of this hole, and I've done it time and time again, and and I'll continue doing it. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I am. I have my struggles as well, but like, the idea of Shinji is always what I could have become if I didn't actually try to pull myself out. And actually, it's still what I can become if I don't, if I give in to these feelings of like, of victimhood. Like, oh, look at me, this. Don't get me wrong, he is a victim. Like, it's fucked up, but at some point he has to realize, like, Amuro is like, okay, only I can do something about this crazy shit that's going on, and people depend on it. On the contrary, people are literally begging him to do something about it. Like, come on, they're begging him to do something, and like this guy's like, look at me, I'm sad. My dad didn't love me. It's like, shit, you get the fuck out of here. Get in the fucking robot before I drop kick you. Like, Jesus Christ. I know I'm just pissed off a few people. They get to, I mean, probably nobody's listening to this, but whoever's listening to this and is an Evangelion fan, don't give him an essay. We get it. The scene here explained this, that, is that was. I get it. Cool. I get it. Just, Shinji, it's just, come on, Shinji. Get in the freaking robot. People depend on it. You gotta do your fucking job, But, I don't even know how I got there. That should tell you how much I fucking dislike Shinji. It's just a crybaby. But going back to Amuro, like, I guess that's why I've always liked Amuro, because Amuro, at the end of the day, he ended up giving his fucking life. Spoiler if you haven't watched Gundam, but I'm pretty sure if you have, like, you know who Amuro is, you know how he ended. But I've always been obsessed with that. And to me, Amuro is the definition of heavy is the head of he who wears the crown. And he accepted that crown. And, it's just kind of like I mean, you guys started to see the themes here, my obsession. But I love Gunpla. KingMuffiiin is like, it's so far away, but it's so connected to that, But yeah, I've always been obsessed with that. I guess we'll go into like my favorite shows in general, mecha genre, or just Gundam in general. So you see, I know a lot of people say the original Mobile Suit, it's a little boring, and it is old by today's standards, and I get it, And with the with how they redid with how they did Origin, there's always been speculations that they might redo the original Mobile Suit, and hopefully they do, but hopefully it doesn't end up shitty. Whatever. I just want more UC stuff. I am obsessed with it, but I like that. If you like old school anime and you don't mind all that stuff, I recommend that. Zeta Gundam, fucking A. I love Zeta Gundam. Like, I love Amuro, but I love the show Zeta Gundam. Like, it's probably one of my favorite shows in the whole series. I highly, highly recommend it. Double Zeta, I've only watched like 25 episodes, or made it like to first 20 episodes or so. I never really made it till the end, but I'll have to watch it eventually. I love the fucking designs of the mechs. That's for sure. Like the Double Zeta, it's fucking. I love how chunky it is. I love like how it can transform into a ship. I just love everything about it. And I build one in version Ka. I have one, and my goal is to go back and like take it apart and then paint it up and put it back together. So that is my goal with that. But yeah, Double Zeta is good. Char's Counterattack. Fucking love Char's Counterattack, and the reason the way I found out about the movie is I watched this YouTube channel called the Happy Console Gamer. Shout out to the Happy Console Gamer if you ever listened to this. But he was talking about like his top 10 favorite anime movies, or I believe that was the episode he had uploaded at the time, and we have very similar taste when it comes to that. Also, that's where I learned of the movie Arian, I think. I believe that's the name. It's about like Greek mythology and things. It's really. I've also been obsessed with Greek mythology. That's a whole different like. I'll go into that sometime later. But yeah, he has Char's Counterattack, and then I went and watched Char's Counterattack, and I was like, holy shit, like this is awesome, So I love Char's Counterattack. The new Gundam, to hands down, is one of my favorites, if not my favorite design, next to the RX-78. Again, just my obsession with Amuro, and there you go. That's another thing is Char's Counterattack is like the end of Amuro, and again, spoiler alert, but if you're listening to this, you're probably like a hardcore Gundam fan like I am. But it's the end of his story, and just him accepting what he needs to do and did it, no hesitation, is truly, truly what I am. I aim, and if not already have achieved. So just love that character again. But Char's counterattack, love it. I believe the next one in line is Gundam Unicorn. The fucking soundtrack is really cool. The Unicorn, I love the design as well too. I have a high grade version of him, like a full armor version, and when he's like all green, not red. But I'm gonna eventually get to that. I cannot wait. I picked it up for like $35, I believe. 35 or 25, something like that. And it usually goes up for a little bit, for like 40, $50. So I was very happy when I picked that model kit up. But Gundam Unicorn, that's one of my favorites. But I'm obsessed with like the UC timeline, so I'm a little biased when it comes to that. But I mean, I love almost all the designs, but I am a I love the Gundam design in general, except the G Gundam stuff. The G Gundam can be hit or miss. I love the main Gundam. I believe his name is Burning Gundam. Burning Gundam. That Gundam, I really love the design of him, but other than that, like, I don't really like the other Gundam designs. They look kind of stupid to me, if I'm being honest. But that being said, the silhouette of the Gundam, I am obsessed with that. So you kind of put that in anything except, well, the only one I didn't like is NT. I found that it looks stupid to me. Like the Gundam design of NT, Gundam Narrative, I believe. I haven't watched the movie. I watched the first 30 minutes, I believe. I was really hyped for it, but I guess I didn't have money at the times. Rough times, especially the whole Corona stuff and everything like that. I couldn't pick up the movie, so I never really watched it. But I did watch the first 30 minutes of it. That was in, I believe, the Gundam Network YouTube channel, and they did like a preview. And I remember watching, I was like, man, this is kind of boring. This is not this is not. I don't know what I was expecting from it. I thought it was going to be like, or it probably is a direct continuation, so I probably got to watch the rest for it to make sense. But the design, it just looks stupid to me. It just looks stupid. It looks like they just kind of ran out of ideas. And they're like, okay, so we want to kind of make it look similar to the Unicorn, but not too similar. So it's like they grab the Unicorn, they just remove parts of it, and to show like the glowing parts, the glowing parts of it, but like it just looks so off, So I don't know if there's plans for it. Again, I gotta watch the movie, and then the Phoenix as well, the Phoenix Gundam. I mean, yeah, it looks cool, but like, I don't know. It's like it's overkill. And then the prices on those fucking things are just ridiculous. I've seen like a perfect grade Phoenix Gundam, and it goes for like $800, $900, and that's retail price. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know it's a perfect grade, but Jesus Christ, like, more power to you if you fucking buy and build that shit. But I'm just happy with my Hyakushiki. But yeah, let me take a little sip of coffee here. By the way, I'm recording this at like 6:25 in the morning. I don't know. I woke up today and I felt like I needed to do this, But yeah, the Gundam narrative design looks to me, but other than that, what else? Let's see. What are a little few of my other favorite designs of Gundam? Okay, this is good. I am not a fan of the Zakus. Now, the engineering of the Zakus is cool, and I don't hate the looks of it. Some of them look really cool, but just in general, the Zaku designs I've always felt like to me. But also, I've always been obsessed with the heroes of shows, so maybe that's why I'm just biased, because they've always been used by the quote-unquote villains of the show. And although the designs in the Gundam Unicorn, they're like the more futuristic looking Zakus. I know they're not Zakus, and I know they got a name, but they look like an more advanced version of the Zakus. I really like those designs actually, but I kind of want some of those model kits. But yeah, I've never really liked the overall Zaku designs. Char's is an exception, but I mean it's Char, like I like the red color, but the green and actually, let me say this. The older I get, the more appreciation I have for the Zaku designs. But I've never really built one, and that's because, again, my loyalty to like the heroes of the shows. So, but Zaku is one that I'll eventually get one. And actually, I think I got one from Gundam Seed Destiny. And I mean, don't get me started on Gundam Seed Destiny. I got a friend who loves that show, and more power to him. But I fucking despise Gundam Seed Destiny. It's just stupid to me. Some of the designs are cool for the mech, but the show in general is stupid. And it's funny because I like Gundam Seed. Gundam Seed is like one of those polarizing shows, but to me, Gundam Seed, I should say, is wait, have I been calling Gundam Seed? Jesus Christ. To me, Gundam Seed is like a remake of the original Mobile Suit, but in like the 2000s. And Kira is just, Kira is a fucking, god and does do nothing wrong, and his fucking crying is annoying. Yeah, I get it, but the Freedom Gundam is, I fucking love the Freedom Gundam. And you could say that's why the Freedom Gundam is kind of like up there in my top 2 or 3 designs. I know I say I have specific designs, but I kind of I guess I change my mind all the time. Like, no, the RX-78 is my favorite. No, the new Gundam is my favorite, and then the next one is the Freedom. So it's between those 3, and I kind of rotate my pick whenever I wake up. I'm like, today I'm kind of feeling freedom-y, But that's I guess that's how I got the name for this podcast. Is or even like just my quote unquote brand, not quote unquote, my branding, which is Freedom Y. Let's see where I got it. Freedom Y is I got it. I guess we'll go into that, but because it has to do with Freedom Gundam. I love the Freedom Gundam. I love the wings, just the name of it. I'm American, and I'm one of those like proud Americans, and I love the word freedom. It's kind of hard to explain if you're not for the States. And if you are for the States, I dislike the word freedom. More power to you, whatever. But to me, I've always loved that word, freedom, and so I've naturally gravitated to this Freedom Gundam, and then just I love the design, the wings. At the time, even though it was more fantasy-esque, it was kind of leaving the real robot aspect of the Gundam. It was becoming more fantasy, with like I said, the wings, and then like all these beams coming out, and like all this like stuff, that the Freedom had. And I love the Freedom Gundam. So I've always been obsessed with that word, and I kind of always wanted to create something named after that. So it's like freedom. I've always wanted freedom. And then Y comes from my girlfriend Kim. She the way she explained it to me is this: her favorite color is like, she loves all the colors, but when people ask her what's her favorite color, it's yellow. So I guess her favorite color is yellow. So I was like, all right, I'll take that, because she also, when I need like a little design of a logo or something like that, I always ask her to do it. And by the way, her Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff is Common Fart. I know, COMMONFART, Common Fart. And so check her workout and stuff. But I always ask her to do small little things like logos and artwork and things like that. And then she did this piece called Martin's Freedom, which is kind of like, I told her that I love Freedom Gundam, and she knew what Gundam Seed was, and like running joke, I believe like her sister likes the Justice Gundam, and she likes the drama. That's why she likes Gundam Seed. Kim's sister likes Gundam Seed because of the romantic drama behind it or whatever. And then I was like, well, I like freedom, and then I always kind of found that funny. But back to the main thing, which is I like Freedom Gundam. She knew that, so she decided to do like this little artwork, which is me kind of like just laying there working on Gunpla with a giant head of the Freedom Gundam, and then with a yellow background, And then I was like, well, and called it Martin's Freedom. So I love that piece. Like I love that piece. And it like she did a second one as well too, with her in it, and it looks amazing as well. Like I love all of those artworks, so I have 2 of those. But like Martin's Freedom is the first one that I saw, and then I took that, and I kind of messed around. It's like, okay, there's yellow, and and then Martin, Freedom. So it's like Freedom Y. And that's kind of like the brand that I use, Freedom Yellow. Or it's also kind of a joke like Freedom Y, because it's like people ask, it's like Freedom Y, it's like because freedom. I know it's kind of stupid, but that's the reason behind the branding Freedom Y, and then that's also the reason behind the name of this podcast, which is the Freedom Time Podcast, which is like again, it's just my homage to the Freedom Gundam. I love it, and I don't want to be political, but I've always found it funny that China has the the giant Freedom. The giant Freedom Gundam, and we will get into that. Whatever. That was just a little jab, a little joke, but I know some people are probably gonna be pissed off. Relax, people. It's a little joke, but yeah, I love the Freedom Gundam, and I guess going back to my favorite Gundam / Gunpla, would be the Freedom Gundam, the new Gundam, and the original RX-78, like the granddaddy. I love all those three. I love all those Gundam. I love a lot of them. I have a few. I love the Kshatriya thanks to Unicorn. Like, I love how bulky it is. I love that. I love the Hyakushiki, which I'm working currently on the master grade. I love how Gundam looks, and especially when you customize them. But you know what? We're gonna go ahead and end the episode on that. This is just. I just wanted to sit here and talk about that, and this will be episode 1, which is episode 1 of the Freedom Time Podcast, and I'll name this podcast episode KingMuffiiin. And I will be uploading these every Monday. This is the plan, every Monday morning. So I might sometimes record them Sunday or Saturday the weekend, but I'm gonna upload them every Monday morning. For now, it's only gonna be YouTube, but once I confirm a few things this week, my plan is to actually upload them to Spotify as well, Spotify and iTunes and everything like that. So that's my goal with that. But for now, it's gonna be on YouTube, and I guess follow my social media if you kind of want to see my work, which is at KingMuffiiin. That's kind of my personal account. But if you want to see all my cool Gunpla work, it's freedom_y_sd. And also my website, which I'm kind of working on it, but I own the domain, so you can check from it from time to time, and it'll be looking different. But I am working on it, which is freedom/y.com. And yeah, like I upload these things every day, and I'm currently working on them. So if you want to see more of my work, that's awesome. And if you made it all the way to the end of this podcast, I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, look forward to a few more. Like I said, follow social media stuff. Check out my work. My plan is to eventually do commissions as well, so if you're interested in that, that's kind of cool. And my plan is to actually also bring people from Instagram that I've talked to, because I've met quite a few people, and I've only talked to them here and there, but I want to ask them about like how they got into Gunpla and their craft and things like that. So hopefully people don't take my idea. Actually, let me take that back, because I'm pretty sure people have done this already, but when people listen to this, because there's more popular. Also want to bring somebody here and kind of figure out like the drama in Gunpla, the Gunpla community, because apparently there's like a lot of freaking drama between like the big streamers, and I don't want to turn this to a negative, but come on, bring in the tea, like my girlfriend says. I'll give you guys the tea when it comes to that. But yeah, this is the first episode of that. Once again, thank you for listening to this. My name is Martin, aka KingMuffiiin. This is the Freedom Time Podcast, so I hope you enjoyed it. Every Monday, come check it out, and until then, have a good one. Bye.